And welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, mmjhl fans, into Manitoba Major Junior Hockey League game day here live from St. Vital Centennial Arena on this Thursday night, as it's 1 versus 2 in the mmjhl taking on each other tonight. The home team, the St. Vital Junior Victorias, visiting with the road team coming in, visiting them in the Charleswood Hawks. I'm your host, Graham, the G-Show Forsyth. This game brought to you by Terrico, McCann Fasteners and Tools, Goaltenders, and Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia. We're getting off to a bit of a late start here tonight, so what we're going to do quickly is show you the schedule, the upcoming games and the past games from this weekend in terms of what's to come here tonight. This week 5 starts off with the Victorias taking on the Hawks. 4 games will be in action tomorrow night, 5 to conclude week 5 on Sunday. As the Vics make their way onto the ice, we flip over to the standings, and it's the Vics on top right now. Over 2 points on the Charleswood Hawks as the Vics make their way onto the ice. In the screen that you can't see right now, Charleswood only 2 points back with 1 less game played. If they're able to win tonight, they may jump the Vics over the standings. They probably would based off of the head-to-head. A bit of a shorter pregame show, I know. We'll fill you in on all of the backstory, the stats from the players in this game throughout this one here tonight, the latest storylines from, of course, what's happening. This has been your abbreviated mmjhl Game Day pregame show live here from St. Vital Centennial Arena. Vics versus Hawks coming up next. National anthems coming up now. Well, it's number 1. It's number 2. Going at it here tonight in the Manitoba Major Junior Hockey League regular season to kick off week 5 here for a Victoria's team tonight that will have Ethan Penner back in goal, number 29, undefeated to start off this season, but some big news that we learned before the game. There's going to be no Tyler Rubini tonight, or no Rylan Netchwaduk tonight. Tyler Rubini will be playing, but the Vics missing half of their top duo, the top duo in the league this season. For Charleswood, from what I've heard, they're pretty much healthy going into tonight's matchup with a full roster. Of course, 2 points back of St. Vital heading into this week 5 opener as the music stops and the referees discuss. We're back at center ice now, and the puck is about to drop. Luke Elliott taking it against number 19 in Elliott Lewis, and we're underway here as the puck ends up in the Vic zone early on. Carlson's shot blocked here early as Kiesman off the boards. Assistant captain for the Victorias and returnee on the back end as this puck, yeah, it's past Ethan Penner, puck loose. The Hawks almost taking advantage of it as that looked to just be a routine cover-up, but puck ended up trickling past Penner for some drama here in the first 30 seconds of this one from the Centennial. I'm your play-by-play commentator for tonight, as always, Graham the G-Show Forsyth. The Vics, of course, coming into this one with a 4-3 overtime loss to the St. James Junior Canucks on Sunday, a game where the Vics led until the final minute, where it was tied up after they were up 3-2. For the Hawks, they come into this one on a 3-game winning streak. Most recent win last Sunday, or I guess this most recent Sunday, in Morris, 5-1 against the Pembina Valley Twisters, is down low in the Victorias, and whistle will blow. I believe the net is off here early on. He had a stoppage in play with 18:49 remaining as the house continues to fill here at the Centennial tonight. Talked about it at the start of the season when we were actually here for the season opener on the 26th. Felt like a preseason atmosphere, but as October slowly comes to an end, fast approaching the end now, as Halloween is already next Thursday, as that shot off the backboard's just wide. But yeah, it's great to see these crowds getting bigger and bigger as the season goes along, getting better atmosphere in here. And warranted tonight with the two top teams in the league currently going at it, as this puck sent into the Victoria's end, left for Brady Jaquette as he waits and surveys his options, has Aiden Anderson with him, decides to go blue line to Nolan Anderson. That pass missing him and going down for an icing, so face-off will come back into the Victoria zone here with not even 2 minutes gone in this one. And what we can expect tonight is two teams that are going to play with a lot of pace, a lot of speed. Charleswood kind of built on speed, one of their main identities, and we've seen them with agility and fast movement early on here in these first 2 minutes of this one. For both these teams, it's about getting off to a good start too. Something that head coach Tyler Anderson and I talked about last night was this Vics team last year and even in the past kind of stung them in ways when they wouldn't start off fast, not getting the results they wanted. Made it here for Charleswood. Oh, Morrison caught post. Penner caught a piece of it at first, and off to the races. Number 9, Tyler Rubin. He cuts in, though, and there's an offside on the play at the blue line. But interesting conversation with the Victoria's bench boss last night, as his interview aired on this afternoon's edition of the mmjhl podcast. Talked about how the team has conversations about splitting the periods up into 5-minute segments and seeing if you can win, as many of those segments as possible. And talked about how crucial those first 5 minutes are in really setting up the outlook of a game. And right here, not the chance the Vics want to give up, and there's a goal in the back of their net as the Hawks start things off here early on with the lead. It'll be Enerson who puts it in, Zach Enerson that is, to give Charleswood a 1-0 advantage over the top Victorias. As we talked about fast starts, and this is something that Charleswood has had here tonight, taking advantage of the opportunities that have been given to them. And most recently, that one going in the back of the net. A bit of sloppy puck play from the Vics to open up this game. And right there, with a good forecheck from Charleswood, that good speed like we've talked about all over the Vics, and they're able to create that misadvantage out in front and capitalize on it. Disadvantages, I should say. 17:15 remaining in this first. The Hawks lead in this one 1-0. As down low it goes off the backboards, picked up by David Johnson, goes off the boards. This puck unable to get out initially, but goes out of play. The face-off coming inside of the Charleswood end. For the Charleswood Hawks coming into this season, a team with a Final Four appearance last season, a team that beat the Victorias in 7 games in last year's first round of the playoffs. Even though you lose Rylan Huging this year in a trade, you bring in a guy in Cole Penner who's 3 years younger and has been this team's top point getter for pretty much this whole season at this point. They got some really good studs on this team like Elliot Lewis, who just lost the puck. Jaquette picked it up and dumped it in past the red line. as in on the feet down low. The Vicks trying to draw this away. Out in front, there's a chance. Oh, beautiful save by Keegan Gordon, who with the 6-1 record coming into tonight has been really good since that opening loss of the season for him 2 Fridays ago in Transcona. Is chasing down this loose puck. Elliott Lewis looking to drop past this to Sperber, but could not find Miss Sperber in the corner. Winning that puck battle momentarily, sends it down low, where it gives Monin a chance to give chase as Monin in on number 15 in Hayden Willis. Willis being checked, decides to go back for Jaquette. Jaquette across to Nolan Anderson, who gets that up to Blake Lee, who just gets it out. Long shot turned aside by Penner. Rebound picked up by Penner. Cole Penner, that is, on Ethan Penner, as Cole Penner gets this to the point. It's to Stevenson at the half wall, but unable to hold it in. Gets hooked a bit in the neutral zone, but no call on the play. It's at the blue line. The Vicks break in now. It's Rubini down the right side, looking for options out in front to Aiden Anderson, but just misses as it's the Hawks coming down the other way. Morrison across to Penner, trying to go backdoor, but too far for him. As Cole Penner turns this over down low in the Vicks zone to Nolan Anderson, who kicks this outside into the skates of Kiesman, who kicks it up to himself and continues down the left side now. His shot just, I believe, catching the piece or maybe going over the net. Occupied by Gordon as this puck into the neutral zone. Chipped in by number 17 in Chance Traverse as he gives chase. Gives Goretzky some troubles as that ended up in his feet before sending it up to Rubini. Now on to Kiesman's stick as his pass across the zone misses. Sean gets bodied along the boards, but continues along. Now chipped out by the Victorias and sent back into their zone just as quickly as Charleswood goes on the forecheck, but the Vicks able to get it out for the time being. Charleswood, Dudic standing up to Goretzky at the red line as it's Carter Lee who circles around his own net, drops a pass back for Kiesman as Kiesman waits. The bit of patience as so far it's been the Hawks who have had most of the high danger scoring opportunities. The Vicks have had a few themselves here through the first 5 minutes of this one. As Waddell at the point bats this down. Now off of the roof this goes. Late whistle on the play. If you heard that in the background, folks, we got some people coming up to us asking about where they can watch the games if they're not here at the rinks. Of course, we're live here on G-Show Productions. You may have come here through gshow.ca as well. Maybe you found us through social media. No matter what the case is, we're happy you're here, and we're glad to be here on this Thursday night as it's the Hawks with a 1-0 lead over the Vicks here with 13:33 left on the first period. Clock almost a turnover down low as this gets sent out. Now breakout pass, number 23, and Tyson Van Alstyne, who ends up losing it. Drops back to Waddell as Waddell tries to receive this behind the back, but that pass misses. Gets knocked to the ice now. A Victoria now spilling into the boards as this gets sent down low. As Connor Mitchell tries sending this to the net, but he'll have this intercepted by Waddell as Waddell sidesteps Philippe in the neutral zone. Took some physicality before sending in, going off for a change. As Jorgen Nell tried to split his way through some Hawks players, but couldn't. Jaquette now, oh, reverse hit, reverse kind of two-hander on number 7 and Nathan Glavina in the neutral zone as Jaquette went off the ice for a change. The Hawks looking to break up, but they can't. This into the skates now of Van Alstyne as he circles back into his zone, and saucer pass deflected out of the air by number 19 and Michael Spence. This gets sent all the way back into the Charleswood end now as it's rimmed around to Glavina. Glavina takes a body check there from Victoria. They hold it in, and Brogno backhand to the slot. That gets intercepted. Matt Carlson tries to pick it up now. Turns, fires off the boards onto the stick of Halati. Halati comes in, short pass, can't quite go to his teammate and Spence as Willis now sends that in deep. As delayed offside on the play. It's touched up by the Vicks. This could potentially be costly for them here. Straswood's been dangerous in their end, and they'll have an offensive zone face-off opportunity coming up after that delayed offside that was declared too egregious for the refs' liking. But this draw, the Vicks able to benefit from it as they win it, getting it all the way down. But this time for another icing, or for an icing this time around instead of an offside. This first period, of course, as you can see on the bottom of your screen, brought to you by Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia, Winnipeg's premier sports cards and memorabilia store located on 995 Miltsteagle Drive. As draw won by the Vicks, Gretzky. Open seam, cross ice to Luke Elliott as he breaks in. Not with a lot of speed, gets hit along the boards as loses this puck. It's in the corner. Going to battle him along with one of his teammates, can't quite make out who it is. About two Hawks in that area as they get possession of it and look to skate it up themselves. Sent in, that shot from Johnson goes off the boards. Monin in to give chase, forces a turnover to Cole Penner in front of the net, turned aside by Ethan Penner. And that counterattack from this Hawks team strikes again. As there, a quick blast from Dylan Jaquette gets turned aside. For the Vicks the other way. As Brady Jaquette just past the red line, backhands this in off the boards and all the way into the Hawks' end. As it forces them to break out 200 feet. That cross ice pass attempt had Morrison unable to handle it as puck ends up out of play into the penalty box. The victorious penalty box, that is, as I believe that's Scott Stroh from Ice Wave Media, or it might be Dave Wilson, actually. Got to shout out the photographers here in the city. They do a great job. We've used Ice Wave Media's work as well in our promos, as you may have seen. Thank you to them for allowing, content creators like us over here at G-Show Productions to use their stuff. Always credited, of course. Yeah, it's awesome to see the talent evolving here around the media side of things in the amateur hockey scene, specifically the junior hockey scene here. Speaking of junior hockey, big hit happened right there inside of the Hawks' end. No call on it as the Victorias look to break up. Jorgen now trying to slice through, gets taken to the ice as he's tangled up still with the Hawk. There's going to be a delayed penalty on the play, as well as a Hawk and a Victoria collide with each other in front of the Hawks bench. I believe that was Carter Lee and Elliot Lewis. Looks like Jorgen Nell as well as a Hawks player going off. I believe that player is Lucas Van Norman. Wears the C for the Hawks this season. It'll be 4-on-4 play here for the next 2 minutes of play with 9:52 remaining on the clock. As picked up by the Victorias at the Hawks blue line, played back into their own end now as Kiesman hits Aiden Anderson up the middle with the cross ice feed. Anderson now streaking behind the goal line. He cuts back to the boards, wheels his way up now. He fakes, goes short shot. Might have been a pass attempt to Goretzky that just misses him, and the Hawks able to break up the other way. Sean tried to get past Rubini, but was stood up at the Vicks blue line. Here come the Victorias, breaking another way as Goretzky's shot gets deflected off of a pad, a shin pad that is, on a block. It's sent out of play. As both teams getting some fresh legs on the ice. This one early on, you can really feel that intensity in this one. I know from talking to Tyler Anderson last night for the Victorias, their head coach said that this team was fired up. Of course, first matchup since losing to them in Game 7 of the playoffs last year in the first round, ending the Vicks bid to get back to a finals series at least. As this gets played off the boards, as Goretzky ends up losing his stick. No call on the play. So now it'll be Glavina Tacking in on Kobe Edwards as Edwards to the boards. Gets to that puck first, but Glavina digging away at it. Glavina out there with Sperber. Glavina has it in his skates now. Sperber able to pick it up for a split second, but just lost a handle on it as this ends up into Kiesman's possession as he puts on the moves on Sperber. Spins away from him before finding Kobe Edwards, Edwards skates with the circles around towards his own bench, able to get a short pass to Willis. Giving chase on Willis, though, as Elliott Lewis couldn't catch up to him, as Halati now backhands this in deep into the Hawks' end. Played by Gordon as that defenseman goes D to D. I believe it's Waddell out there. Oh, sorry, it's Glavina who backhands a pass over to Dudish, who almost turns this over along the boards, being hounded there by Rubini. Halati also in for help with 13 seconds remaining on this 4-on-4 as the Hawks get possession of this puck again. Floated across ice, can't find anybody on the Hawks, that is. As we're back to even strength now at 5-on-5. As Aiden Anderson wheeling in. Anderson protecting this puck down low. He curls towards the boards to protect. Anderson tries getting that in deep. Ends up at the point into the skates of Rubini. Picked up by Anderson now as Anderson holds this on the backhand. Gets past Waddle out in front as that one couldn't be banged away at by Mbrogno. As the Hawks able to finally flip it out. Jaquette, though, able to take it away just as fast as it exited the zone. Drop pass by Anderson to Mbrogno as he tries to protect near the defensive gate, the Charleswood bench. As that puck, aerial for just a split sec. Now taken out by the Hawks. Nice move by Penner. His shot just low and wide of the net as he went inside, outside, in on that attack. And I believe that was Jaquette. Jaquette feeds that up to Philippe. Philippe past the red line, just sends this in deep. It goes off for a change. Be Jaquette along with Rubini. As this all the way down to the big zone. No icing, though, on the play. As that's waved off. Penner decides to go off the backboards. As into the skates this goes. Philippe, it gets turned over. Victoria's unable to get it out. Whacked out by Lewis. He picks up this loose puck off of a shin pad of a Victoria. Now out in front again off of an arm this time of Goretzky. So Vic's able to recover and break this out. As Kiesman cuts to the middle. Looking to split the D inside now. Goes inside. Can't quite get past Hawks player though. Philippe picks it up. Gets pickpocketed trying to take that shot upon releasing it. As physicality down low has a Victoria sent to the ice. As the Hawks just before the blue line off the backboards in there, scores! Well, it's once again this Charleswood Hawks team taking advantage of the opportunistic, the fortuitous bounces that are coming their way. That time off the backboards, it goes, hops over the stick of Victoria's defenseman, and out in front to put it away is McPherson. As Penner sprawled out to make the save, but couldn't quite put in quite a good enough effort to make it. But for the Vics, they end up going to the power play here coming up. As Riley Dudish ends up taking a 2-minute minor. As this potentially a chance for the Victorious to get back into this game here, cut into the score. As the draw one to Tyler Rubini at the half wall. Sent in all the way deep now. Onto Penner's stick, and his crease is coming down hard was number 16 in Carlson, as afterwards takes some bumps from Kiesman in the corner afterwards and give him a bit of shot back, but that dump in and cover up forces a face-off draw inside of the Vic zone. As Carlson to take the draw against Carter Lee. Carlson for the Hawks, Lee for the Victorias, as draw one by the Vics. As Kiesman looks to skate this up ice. Surveys his options, decides to drop this back to Aiden Anderson. It goes Anderson, little shimmy shake in the middle, through the legs. That pass goes connected to Rubini now, is along the right side, down low. Banks it off the boards up top, back to Kiesman, as Kiesman straddles the line. Tries going back across to Aiden Anderson, but turned over, and once again, the Vics have to start up, breaking out from their own end as they get a line change on for Goretzky, making his way onto the ice as it's Rubini wheeling up. Rubini down the right side, taking it himself, looking for a wraparound chance. Oh, can't quite put it away as that gets sent out of the Victoria zone, or out of the Hawk zone, as the Vics dump it in again. Darian Shaw now surveying his options. Just decides to send this down deep as 46 seconds remain on this Vics power play. With 4:24 remaining in this power play, or in this period. Into the skates, that pass goes to Blake Lee, is coming up with speed. It's Morrison driving to the net. Good defense to take it away there. The stick of Connor Mitchell. As Nolan Anderson skates his way up now, trying to dangle in, gets a pass over to Mitchell, back to Nolan Anderson, but can't connect with him. Blake Lee now to Edwards. Edwards tries going back door. Lucky bounce though, tips into the back of the net for the Victorias to cut into this lead. We now got a 2-1 game in favor of the Hawks, and hey, you throw the puck in the net, sometimes great things happen, and great things happen there for Kobe Edwards. As with 16 seconds remaining on the power play, the Vics potentially with new life in this one. Haven't been playing bad by any means in this to be down 2-0. As losing his footing was Waddell at the blue line. Not sure if you could see it there, if we even caught it on camera. Waddell back with it into the skates. That pass goes to Lewis. Lewis up to Carlson as Carlson gets it in. Fortuitous bounce maybe again there for the Hawks, but Sperber couldn't quite catch up to it. As Jorganel sends one across to Brady Jaquette, who gets a pass over to Luke Elliott, who sends it to the middle onto the stick of Blakely now. Just for a moment, though, as it's back into the neutral zone and skating up with speed. It's Sperber trying to cut in between two Vics defensemen there, but lost the puck. The Vics able to get this puck out now and onto the stick of Waddell as he sends it across. Number 5 in Van Norman. Van Norman connects with Monin, back to Van Norman now. Van Norman along the boards. Laser reverse hit there on the ever so physical Sandy Imbrogno. As Monin down low, helping out with Penner. Penner feeds his man. Almost behind Penner and into that. Ethan Penner, that is. As Waddell tries feeding into the slot. Number 28 in Stevenson there, who ended up taking the shot. As this ends up all the way out of the Victoria's end. Into the Hawk zone now. 2.5 remaining in this opening frame. Kobe Edwards with the goal to get the Vics back within 1 here. It was McPherson giving the Hawks a 2-0 lead before that, though, as Morrison able to send this puck down low onto the stick of Chance Traverse, who Traverse gets it back to Morrison. Morrison now able to muscle his way up to his own blue line, or to the Vics blue line, and send that down low for Riley Dudich, as Dudich gets good position on Halati into the slot, backhand. That taken away this time by the glove of Ethan Penner on Morrison. And yeah, it's going to be a bit of an adjustment tonight, Ethan Penner being the goalie for the Vics, and Cole Penner wearing number 6 for the Hawks. Going to have some dangerous chances tonight, of course, so apologies if we create some confusion there. 2 Penners, 1 on each team in tonight's matchup. That's a fun fact for you. Brought to you by our sponsors in that top right-hand corner. But it's Tyler Rubini skating in now down the right side to the net, backdoor. That one just missing as Nolan Anderson tried to connect on it, but couldn't fin. As drop back to Riley Dudich, holding the line. Oh, ran out of some patience and touched that puck up as Morrison still making his way out, and the refs determining that this a bit too egregious. And the Vicks also pointing that this draw should be down in the Hawk zone, and why wouldn't you? Advantage for the Vicks here late in this period if they're able to win it. Potentially, you can set something up. But strong on the draw was number 13 in Morrison for the Hawks as he won it into the corner. The Vicks, strong forecheck though, on it right away. It's Aiden Anderson putting on the work, boots down low. Gets this puck to Tyler Anderson, who tries to bull his way through. That puck still loose in the skates now of Aiden Anderson, or Nolan Anderson down low. Aiden in to help. This finally turned over and now skated up by Traverse, who passed the red line, sends this in and goes continuing in on the forecheck as gets to that puck. His line mates went off for a change. Now Traverse does the same in the final 45 seconds. Lewis got cut off there by Kiesman as the Vicks send this out. No icing on the play as Keegan Gordon out to try to send this puck out. Can't quite. It's held up at the line for now. Back into the neutral zone. Short pass from Carter Lee over to Brady Jaquette. Has to be careful not to get in trouble here with the puck. He does, though, in the corner as he battles away with it. Backhand just wide of the net as Michael Sperber just missed. Carlson able to pick up this loose puck. His shot blocked as Sperber tries to get the puck back from Mitchell, but can forcing a turnover almost on that forecheck is potentially another chance for Kiesman. Trying to split through. He does. Can he get a shot off? Gets that towards the net. Banging at it was a Victoria, I believe, in Mitchell, who now he'll take down a Hawk near the side of his own net. So the ref's in there right away to break things up. But with that, even though the Victorias come out of this only trailing by 1, down 2-1, just heard that they only had 4 shots on the stat sheet this past period. So, yeah, I mean, overall, you know, both teams seemingly getting their chances to come in off the rush. A lot of flip-ins, right? Trying to establish their zone time, their offensive presence. I think that Charleswood did a much better job of it. I think their forecheck looked a bit stronger based off the eye test in that period. Of course, they had more shots, they forced more turnovers, and they capitalized off of, you know, those turnovers they forced. And, you know, some bad puck management, some unlucky puck management. No matter what the case was for the Vicks, it was the Hawks who took advantage more of those opportunities in that period. You know, Ryland Netraduk being out of this game, a huge absence so far for the Vicks, even though they still got Tyler Rubini and, you know, a bunch of their other top guys in. But we'll see if they can recover from a 1-goal deficit heading into it. And the players they have out of the lineup tonight, including Ryland Netraduk, here coming up in the next 20 minutes of play on Manitoba Major Junior Hockey League game day. We'll see what Period 2 has in store for us coming up next. We're going to send it to our promo screen here, and we'll be back with some news from around the league and maybe show you some stats, but overall going to be talking a bit more about this first period of action as we'll get set for the second period of action here from St. Vital Centennial Arena when we come back. The Charleswood Hawks, the visitors, up 2-1 over the Vicks after the first 20. More to come after this little break here, ladies and gentlemen. Stay tuned. Welcome back into St. Vital Centennial Arena here, ladies and gentlemen, as it's the Charleswood Hawks who lead after the first period of action, 2-1. Kobe Edwards scoring his third goal of the season to cut into the lead on the Vicks power play. Shortly after in that period, in terms of the first period scoring, though, how it went, it was for the Hawks opening up the scoring, and Zach Anderson, number 22. Assisted by number 13, Nathan Morrison and Darian Shawn. 2 minutes, 26 seconds into the game. Second goal was scored at 14:08 by Jaden McPherson, his second of the season, assisted by Zach Anderson, as number 22 has a 2-point night so far for Charleswood. Shots were 9-4 in favor of the Hawks in that first. Keegan Gordon getting the start for the Hawks in net tonight, along with Ethan Penner for the Junior Victorias. 2 penalties to 1, or I guess 1 penalty taken, since the first was coincidental to Jorgen Nell, and captain for the Hawks and Lucas Van Norman. And yeah, as for the Vicks tonight, no Rylan Netchwaduk in the lineup. Ethan Penner, of course, making his return into the pipes tonight. And yeah, I mean, a bit of an adjustment. You're missing one of your top players tonight. Tyler Rubini missing his partner in crime. So, you know, how is he going to step up his game without him? How is Aiden Anderson going to step up his game without him, and the rest of this Vicks team, right? This is a team that I thought, pace-wise, Charleswood had the better pace compared to the Vicks in that first period. I thought Charleswood came out with a lot of speed, was really quick getting on the forecheck, did a great job at hemming the Vicks in their own end during that period as well, and creating chances from down low, working those one-timers into the high danger scoring areas, and really making a chaos for Ethan Penner in his crease. You know, I think for the Victorias in this upcoming period, you know, you're going to have to come out with a lot of jump, get some offensive zone time to start things off, a few shots. You know, let Keegan Gordon know that you're going to be counting with the shots this period, because you were only able to have 4 in that first. Of course, it starts in the defensive zone, and can this Victoria's team start to handle that speed that Charleswood is coming with more so in their own end, for them to, you know, have more success there and getting out, you know, better and more frequently. In terms of, you know, the schedule, as we show you guys one more time before we send it to our second period screen here. This is the opening game of Week 5 tonight. 4 games will be played on the schedule tomorrow, with 5 on Sunday, as usual in the league, as Week 5 will wrap up then. It was an eventful Week 4 as we take a look at the scores there. Some blowouts, some close games, and yeah, in terms of the standings, it's the Vicks up by 2 points in first place right now over the Hawks. If the Hawks are able to hold on to win this one tonight in regulation, they tie the Vicks in the standings, of course. If this one goes to extra time, though, the Vicks remain in first no matter what. We'll show you some stats leaders, too, as that's what we said we'd do. Tyler Rubini, first in goals, second in assists. Aiden Anderson also top 4 in assists. But as for this Charleswood Hawks team, Matt Carlson tied with 4 others for 5th in points with 13. And as you see there, Keegan Gordon with the best record, most wins, and an unbelievable save percentage to start off this year, too, at .933. Ethan Penner in pipes for the Vicks tonight. He does not have a loss yet on the season. Could that first loss be coming tonight? We'll have to wait and see, as both teams will be making their way onto the ice. Right now, the Vicks will be starting things off by coming on first, followed by the visitors and the Hawks. Enjoy the second period of mmjhl Game Day here on G-Show Productions on gshow.ca. Hawks coming into this next one. This next 20 minutes to play period 2 with a 2-1 lead. And as you see, the team in black, red, and white tonight making their way onto the ice, the visitors in the Charleswood Hawks. 6-1-1 heading into this matchup tonight, and up 2-1 on the Vicks after the first 20 minutes of play. If it weren't for that bad bounce on the power play for this squad, or on the penalty kill, I guess, fortune bounce for the Vicks on the power play, as Kobe Edwards ended up scoring his third goal of the season and first of the game here tonight for this Vicks team. The only goal for the Vicks, of course, but other than that for the Hawks, I mean, 9-4 in the shot advantage. Carried most of the play in the offensive zone. Had more of the chances and are looking for the same here in this period as we're underway. Braden Stevenson loses the draw to Blake Lee as this puck taken away by Cole Penner at his blue line. Or at the Vicks blue line, that is, near his own bench. As this puck in the neutral zone picked up by the Victorias now and sent all the way in deep into the Hawk zone. As Johnson spins around, short pass over to Sean as Sean tries connecting up the middle with Monin, but could not. And goes down all the way for an icing. As Charleswood will remain with their same guys who started this period out. Still after this icing, 31 seconds in, gives maybe the Vicks an advantage with some fresher bodies on the ice as Aiden Anderson wins the draw to Nolan Anderson. His pass to a point man and Keesman a bit too far for him, so he decides to just send that down low. Up top to Rubini in the hog zone, over to Nolan Anderson down low, who tries spinning away from the check-in of David Johnson, but Johnson does a pretty good job to stay with him. So good that he loses his stick. As across to Goretzky. It goes now. Oh, huge block by the stick of Traverse coming in off of the line change off the bench. As this rebound sent into the far boards by Keegan Gordon. The Vicks with a lot of good pace to open up this period. Winning on the forecheck. Gets that up to the point, but another good block, this time by the stick of Cole Penner. As Penner comes down, gets hounded. Doesn't draw a penalty there on a play where he got hauled down to the ice. That was a good effort there from number 6. As Aiden Anderson loses the puck for the Vicks inside of the Hawk zone. Allows for the Hawks to regroup, and with some time, a turnover on this pass. Stretched up as this sprung up to Carter Lee. Play to Kobe Edwards, who gets this in deep for the Victorias. As Nolan Anderson and Mitchell digging away at this puck. The Vicks get it for a split second. Oh, taking a run, and Dudich there was Kobe Edwards. As Dudich survived it. As Van Norman now flips it in. Off of the helmet. That clear out attempt goes off of Sperber's bucket. It's back into the neutral zone. This gets flipped now onto Halati's stick. He goes D to D with Willis. This gets sent all the way into Charleswood's end, but tipped on the way down as Keegan Gordon out to play it. Leaves it for Morrison. Morrison connects cross ice with Dudich. Dudich kicks it out to number 17, Traverse, who has his pocket picked. Puck into the corner. As Traverse tries getting this up to the point. He's now at the half wall. Down low, it's Morrison who intercepts this puck. Morrison tries to make his way past the Victoria, almost does. Lost a handle on the puck, though, as it's in the Vicks' possession as they flip this out, chasing down with speed. And Brogno against Lavina, but an icing called on the play. With 16:58 remaining, 2-1 in favor of the Hawks. It's a bit of a malfunction in the draw. The refs not quite set to see this play develop as of yet. As we get another face-off to the glove hand side of Ethan Panner. Lewis gets tied up along with him. No advantage for the Vicks on that draw as they're able to win it. Sent all the way down, and no icing on the play As out in front, Spence tries getting that into the slot for Philippe as he won the race to the puck. Just over Van Alstyne as Sperber now drops a pass to Lewis. Oh, getting a piece of that on the save was Ethan Penner for the Vicks. As the Vicks try to send this in deep, they do. As Gordon out to play it again. Backhand pass up to Johnson. His pass misses just out. Jaquette sent it right back in for the Vicks. Forces the Hawks to break up. Glavina, short pass up the right side. That gets to Johnson or Sperber to Carlson, whose pass ends up just missing wide of the net. As now Jaquette carrying it over offside as Luke Elliott could not hold the line. As we'll get a face-off just outside of the Hawk zone. McPherson taking the draw in on Blake Lee. Draw we won by Lee. D it goes to Nell. Nell skating up. Faking, hesitating, going down the right side. Around the net now is Lee. Still protecting along the boards, but finally cut off, and it's intercepted, picked up by Enerson, who Enerson just before the blue line sends this in deep as Ethan Penner out to play it. This gets taken away now, though, and Jaquette wheeling up the left side, plays it to the net. That puck gets deflected into the corner closest to our broadcast angle. Turned over, blast from the point. Goretzky has that blocked, and once again, Charleswood sacrificing their sticks, and this time their bodies. It's David Johnson hobbling going to the bench. Another huge block, but they may have to do it again as an icing on the play brings this face-off draw back into the Hawk zone. In the second period, brought to you by, of course, all of our sponsors, but more specifically Interico, serving Manitoba producers in the agricultural industry for over 80 years. Sure to visit their website at interico.ca. Nolan Anderson can't hold this inside his own, inside the offensive end, goes back into his own end and left it for Kiesman, who left it for Goretzky, who rims this around, trying to go long distance with that to Aiden Anderson, but it was intercepted. Cole Penner drops his pass to number 18 for the Hawks. Stephen Kutry picked up by the Hawks in the neutral zone. Penner behind the back pass to Van Norman. That pass just off for Sam Monin as the Vicks allows them to get possession of it. Banked off of the boards and onto the shaft of Keegan Gordon in the crease. Shaft of his stick, as I should say, to clarify. As Cole Penner down low. That one-timer shot turned aside. Rebound there from the point. That blast deflected off the shot from Waddle. But once again, the Hawks forcing those opportunities, those turnovers down low and getting into the slot area, the low slot, the high slot, wherever it may be, and getting good, high-quality opportunities through cleanly on Ethan Penner. It's been really impressive to see so far. Against a victorious team who has found a way to win in many ways this season. They've also shown they can win from behind. So this game far from over, but I think Charleswood knows that as they force a turnover. Stevenson over to Penner as his shot turned aside by Ethan Penner. This line for the Hawks that just went off for a change. Penner, Monin, and Stevenson with some good chemistry. Off of the draw, that shot blocked from Traverse. He tried to get it through. Out there with Riley Dudic as well as Dudic able to get to that puck first. Drops it back to Traverse. Up top, Van Alstyne. His shot almost gets through, but couldn't get deflected towards the net. As Dudic angling off and cutting off Willison the down low in the zone. Pass out in front. That one almost going for Charleswood, but can't quite as it's sent all the way down into the Hawk zone for an icing. And the ref's not too happy about that one. Thought they could have let it go. Face-off draw will be back inside of the Vic's end with 13:18 remaining in the second period of action. Draw one to the Vic's corner as batted down by the glove of Connor Mitchell, who looks to go off for a change now along with Kobe Edwards as the Vic's making sure they get off. Don't want to get caught with potentially too many men out there. As, Philippe looked like he was winding up to blow up Sperber with a hit. As that puck gets sent in on net into the Vic zone, covered up by Ethan Penner. So get another stop in play here. Another face-off coming inside of the Vic zone. Elliott Lewis to take the draw against Blakely. Jorgen Nell and Jaquette switch places on the face-off. 1-2 Jaquette, but the ref's blowing it down right away. Once again, the ref's too excited to drop the puck, and whoa, hang on. We weren't completely set. This time they were, and the Hawks end up winning it. As tied up along the boards is a Hawk as they keep this down low. Sean steps up from his point position to play the body on Luke Elliott to allow for this puck to stay deep in the Vic zone for now. The Vic's trying to chip it out. Nice play by Carlson to come to the point closest to us to keep it in, to cut that off, but it's finally out of the zone. Now carried in by this victorious squad as Blakely has that stripped away by David Johnson. Carlson tried getting that cross ice. Johnson does to Sperber, but could not handle that cleanly. Now turned over Jaquette. His shot just high of that glove hand side, occupying the Hawks net. As the Hawks get off for a full change. As Keegan Gordon almost with some troubles. They're batting away at it. Was Philippe in front. Stretch pass up. Could not connect cleanly. Couldn't cradle it. There was Penner. Cole Penner, that is. Zimbrogno gets it in deep. Michael Spence can't get his shot through as it's blocked by Monin, who kicks that out. Wide cross ice pass to Penner. Back to Monin. His shot turned aside by the paddle there of Ethan Penner. Cole Penner now down low. Bobbing and weaving, he sends that backhand pass to the side of the net. Vic's having some trouble with it at first. They'll be able to survive for now as they, just can't quite get it out as it stays in their own end. As Van Norman sends that down low. Finally flipped out by the Vics and hops over the stick of Waddell. Now Philippe busting in with speed. Side of the net has that turned aside, I believe, by the side of the net. As now Tyler Rubini, been quiet tonight, tried to intercept that puck. And two-handed down will be traversed by Imbrogno. That puck goes off of the stick of Keegan Gordon. And out of play. Physicality, as you can see, ramping up in this one. A lot of two-handers in this one, sending players to the ice. The refs, for the most part, letting these teams play. We got a 2-1 lead for the Hawks. With 10:35 remaining in the second period of action. David Johnson across ice to his D partner, and Sean, who tries throwing up the middle, but off of a victorious player's stick. Down low into the big zone now, below their own goal line. A Hawk loses his footing, went down to the ice. It'll be the Vicks breaking up. Rubini down the right side, looking for his option. Surveying, goes around the net, brings us up top again. He'll shoot. That'll be gloved down and seen all the way, though. For a save by Keegan Gordon with 10:10 remaining. And yeah, if you're Rubini, I mean, you're one of the most dangerous players, if not the most dangerous players in the league when you're able to get to speed and space. So why not use what's given to you there, right? They're taking away the inside, but they give you the outside. You're able to circle all the way up and actually find, some middle of the ice, even though it was near the points, just above the ringette line. Those are the types of opportunities I think Tyler Rubini is going to have to look for, skating to that open ice. Or if not, maybe find one of his teammates and opening up ice with his presence, drawing people to him. As that shot to the net, Rubini in, trying to get the rebound, but could not. This will be covered up by Gordon. 9:45 remaining. As both teams getting a line change in, this one will be to the glove hand side of Gordon. Draw one by the Vicks. Turning around and firing it down right away would be Kobe Edwards for this Vicks team. Allows for the Vicks to get possession in the corner. At the line, Jaquette holding. Sends it to Carter Lee, who tries finding Kobe Edwards in the middle, but cannot. Hawks try threading this up the middle, but almost Elliott Lewis catching up to that missed pass, which almost ended up in close to Ethan Penner. Now Connor Mitchell racing down to negate this icing, but can't quite beat Van Alstyne to it. So we'll get another face-off draw inside of the Victoria zone. As this pass across to Elliott Lewis, tried sending that towards the net to Sperber, but deflected off of Victoria's stick and out of play. And by the way, looks like the mmjhl is doing this again, but say we're doing this game tonight and you look on the mmjhl's website to their latest scores, the box scores, the most recent ones at that, you'll see the watch live or watch game icon, and it'll take you right to our YouTube channel, so where you'll be able to watch this game that you'd be watching right now. Coming in with speed, Rubini trying to go back door, trying to connect with Nolan Anderson. Waddell coming back hard on the back check, takes out Keegan Gordon and his net in the process, so we'll get a whistle in this play with 8:48 left on the clock. And we're starting to see number 9, Tyler Rubini, start to get to that speed more often in this period, right? What he can do, just bursting down that right speed alone with that straight line speed is dangerous. It backs up the entire defense, so we'll see how creative number 9 can get with it tonight and see if he'll notice some things out there that might open up for him as this game continues to go along. So he picked up. Van Norman stretches it up the middle. Anderson bumps off of a check. Number 22 looking for a second of the night. Oh, this time, oh no, just kidding. He scores, puts it in the back of the net. Thought Penner had it initially, but 29 fooled for the second time here tonight by number 22 as the Hawks regain a 2-goal lead with 8:23 remaining. And once again, this Vicks team, a bit sloppy in the details. As Anderson bursts through that neutral zone, the puck gets past all of the Vicks. There was also some unluckiness in there as well as the puck hopping over their sticks, but, a guy gives you a bump like that, you give him one back, you might end up having a penalty caused, but Anderson had no problem giving a Victoria's defenseman a bump on the way by. He's able to break away with some speed and get past Penner, where Penner thought he made the save initially, but not quite good enough to hold on to that one as it squeezed past him. We saw that also happen earlier on in this game in the first few minutes of it, where a puck squeaked past him and he ended up being chaos in his own end, but 7:50 remaining in this period as the Hawks look to get back to work to potentially add on to this lead as the puck gets played to the point. Johnson plays it down low as this gets rimmed off of the boards in the Vic zone. Back to Penner in his own crease as he covers things up with 7:33 remaining. So it'll be Dudic's line that stays out there with Morrison along with number 17 in Traverse. Imbrogno's line will be out there for the Victorias. As Imbrogno wins this draw, back to Jaquette. He plays this off of the glass. This hops over the stick of Sean. Sean giving chase against Michael Spence, who's barreling down on him. But Sean able to get there quick enough. Sidesteps the check into Philippe. Hit laid on there by Imbrogno as puck sent all the way into the Victoria's zone. First one on it will be Riley Dudic. Sends a pass into the middle, but can't connect with the teammate. So this gets sent right back inside of the Victoria's zone behind his own net. Turned over now. Not sure quite who that was, but at the point, Sean gets that to Dudic across to Traverse, but could not quite find number 17 with that pass. Dudic back down low, tries getting that to the slot area, but this one will be blocked up by Victoria's stick, but turned over again. Trying to go back door as had Penner doing the splits. Were the Hawks trying to find Morrison that time. I believe it was Dudic on the pass, but could not. This sent all the way down for an icing. So we'll get another face-off inside of the Victoria zone here coming up. But once again, the quickness of the Hawks on full display. The details become even much more important for the Victorias, like I've talked about again. Not only do you have to be sure with where that puck's going, but you also got to be quick in moving it, because as we saw there, and as we see again, the Hawks almost get into that puck quickly to scoop up a loose puck. As Imbrogno tries from in the south, but can't quite get it out. Waddell holds the line. Down low to Matt Carlson. Sperber down low with him to help. Spinning away from Carlson now is Evan Philippe as he picks this puck up and looks to pick up speed, but decides to backhand it instead just past the red line. Played off of the boards and all the way up to Carlson, but it gets past him. Giving chase was Elliott Lewis. It was out of reach as an icing gets called on the play. A bit late on the call though. Pretty sure the ref's telling the coaches to shut up, or hearing someone say shut up out here in this arena, but with 5:46 remaining, we'll get another face-off inside of Victoria's zone, I believe. Now, since the refs were late on calling the icing, maybe they don't have this face-off end up here, but it will, in fact, end up inside of the big zone. This second period brought to you by Terrico and Goaltenders, your goalie's personal video review service. As these goaltenders have had to make some good saves tonight. Speaking of, through some traffic, and that one, I think, might have been deflected a bit from the Van Norman shot. Ethan Penner up to the task to make the save. As draw will be won by the Hawks again. Trying to send that in deep was McPherson, but can't. It's turned over. The Vicks up the middle, can't connect quite with that pass to Kiesman. As he was breaking through that middle seam to the Hawks defense. Down low, it'll go to Kobe Edwards, who shields the defender from the puck with his body. As Carter Lee now getting physical along the boards, being grabbed there by McPherson. No call on the play. There's been some yelling going on from I don't know whose bench, but the Hawks able to finally get this out and send it all the way into the Vic zone again. That was Connor Mitchell. Oh, just dodges a check, able to get a short pass up to number 23 and Kobe Edwards as that pass, or that puck gets just past his glove in the neutral zone as he goes off for a change. Tyler Rubini onto the ice. Delayed, offside, or high stick. Penalty on the play, actually. A head contact penalty coming up. So it'll be number 28 and Stevenson going to the box. For this victorious team, as We showed you their power play percentage earlier on in this game. It's been pretty good this season. As we showed you on the standings during the intermission in our pregame show. But a power play loaded with a lot of talent. As once again, a player dropping his stick. There's been a lot of sticks flying on the ice tonight. A lot of sticks indeed have been all over the place as the Vics look to get back to even after this 2 minutes, or even before then if they can score early on this power play. They win the draw as it's one back to Keesman. Keesman unloads his shot, turned aside by Keegan Gordon into the skates of Rubini near the side of the net. Along the half boards now to Aiden Anderson. Anderson back up to Keesman. Keesman across to Aiden Anderson now. Sorry, that was Nolan before. Aiden to Keesman up top, but Keesman unable to hold this in. He shakes off a Hawks player, though, in the neutral zone and breaks in. Spins around. Keeps near towards the point. Drops or kicks it out to Nolan Anderson, who Nolan Anderson gets a missed pass back. Almost gets that out of the zone with the pass, but doesn't. Into the slot. That one from Aiden Anderson goes to Rubini, but Rubini ends up being disrupted. They covered up well. Rubini with some speed now through the neutral zone. Looking to get something going on this Vic's power play. As he takes it down low. Backhand side. Directly behind the net now is another whistle on the play. It ended up being the net being off. So with 57 seconds remaining in the Vic's power play, they look to go to work again. Draw one to the boards. Goretzky over to Kobe Edwards, who looked to unload for the shot but lost a handle on it. Back up top to Goretzky. Goretzky faced the shot into the slot. Now that goes, no desperation, pass over to Dylan Jaquette, who just misses the net. Another net knocked off the bearings again inside of the Hawk zone as the fans calling for a penalty. Claiming that Gordon kicking it off of its bearings. I feel like that's kind of tough sometimes as a goaltender, right? You're so into going side to side. Yes, you have to control yourself from kicking the net off, but I feel like it's not as easy as it looks sometimes. And, you know, who knows? Maybe that's part of the strategy for Gordon, kicking it off as much as possible. But I really couldn't tell you. That's speculation more than anything. But 29 seconds remain on this victorious power play. It'll be skated up by Goretzky as just before the blue line dumps it in. Gordon came out of his net to play it, but decided to leave it. This gets dumped out by the Hawks, and given chase will be Kobe Edwards. Back into his own end. As behind his own net with some patience, knowing that not much time, if any at all, left in this power play chance. Edwards fans on the pass out. Takes one in the head a bit from Elliot Lewis there. Might have caught a fist in the head there accidentally. Vic's able to survive and get this all the way into the Hawk zone. As in on the forecheck was Blake Lee, but able to get past him was Captain Van Norman. As Van Norman, just before the blue line, sends this into the crest of Ethan Penner. With 2:06 left on the clock here in the second, 3-1 in favor of the visiting Charleswood Hawks. Of course, looking to match the Vics in the standings, not only in points, but in wins after this one, as the Vics came in 7-1-1. The Hawks with the 6-1-1 record. Really been, you know, well, by the standings, two of the most impressive teams to start off this season factually. Of course, Charleswood started off as a team that didn't lose for their until their fourth game of the year in overtime, then ended up losing their first in regulation 2 Fridays ago. Glavina, he comes in from his point spot to take that shot. It'll be turned aside. Cole Penner now. He unloads his shot. Just grazes past the glove of Ethan Penner, occupying the Vic's net. Jaquette laid a hit on. Penner down low, but Penner got right back up. Jaquette now skating with it, decides to try to send this off the glass, but it'll be intercepted. Glavina, he pivots and shoots, but sent out of play. Off of the stick. Good defense from the Vicks. As thought maybe Jaquette had some words for a Hawk on the way back to his bench. Yeah, I mean, this Hawks team coming in with 3-game winning streak for the Vicks before their loss on Sunday. Had been winners of 6 in a row. As this gets kicked out to Dylan Jaquette, as Jaquette along the boards trying to protect this, but gets tied up along with Carlson as Carlson angled him out well. Carlson will have this turned over though, as the Vicks at the blue line keep this in. Carlson, good stick work though, turns it over again. Halati off of the skate of Dylan Jaquette, as down low picked up by Luke Elliott, who sends this down low in the direction of Dylan Jaquette. As Charleswood looking for one more breakout opportunity up, but get disrupted as the Vicks looking to break and weaving in Dylan Jaquette. Oh, somehow gets to that loose puck. Rebound there for Blake Lee, but just misses wide of the net. Great effort there from a rookie in Jaquette for the Vicks, and returning in Blake Lee. This puck gets flipped up all the way into the Vic zone. This time it'll be Willis coming back for it and skating it up. Not allowing for the Hawks to get a chance behind the Vicks. That shot wide of the net. To the net, tipped on. Oh, nice sharp save made by Gordon in the last 10 seconds. Stretch pass up. That connects with Dudich. Does he have one more chance in him? Oh, that shot gets off, but deflects into the corner as Dudich got leveled after that one after taking the shot by Mitchell. Slowed to his feet afterwards. Think he has some words for Mitchell as Mitchell skates off. As him and his teammate and Carter Lee having a conversation as they go off into the second intermission of this game. A 3-1 lead advantage for the Hawks. Up by 2 heading into the final 20 minutes of regulation. We'll update you on shots as well as on the scoring summary coming up during our second intermission. We'll also show you other things like the schedule for the rest of this action that's coming up in week 5 this week in the league, this weekend on Friday and on Sunday. But until then, folks, we're going to rest up for just a few minutes here and be back in about 4 to 5 with some more coverage on mmjhl game day here from St. Vital Centennial Arena. In this game brought to you by McCann Fasteners and Tools, Terrico and Goaltenders, and Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia. The Hawks, 20 more miles, and they could be victorious in this one tonight. 20 minutes of regulation left in this one. 3-1 they lead over the top-seeded Victorias, 3-1. welcome back into Sinfatel Centennial Arena here. As we got a 2-goal lead for the visitors in the Charleswood Hawks after 40 minutes of play. They're up 3-1, 17 to 12. The shots in favor of the Hawks after the first 40. Shots were 8-8 even last period. The lone goal scorer was Zach Enerson with his 4th of the season, 2nd of the game, assisted by Lucas Van Norman and Jaden Waddell. And that goal ended up coming 11:37 into the period. Wanted to let you all know about what's to come this weekend in the MMJHL. Starting off with our Friday matchups tomorrow. There's going to be 4 games on tap in the league. The Vics and Hawks both getting days off. Hawks will be back in action at home on Sunday afternoon, and we'll have that game on G-Show Productions for MMJHL game day at 3:45 p.m. The Vics will be traveling to Century Arena on Sunday to take on the Fort Garry Twins. As for the standings, of course, taking a look at it one more time, heading into this weekend, there's a 4-way tie, or a 3-way tie for 4th. So I should say, mixed up my words there. But yeah, the top 3 teams right now are the Victorias, the Hawks, and the Railer Express. The Hawks, if they're able to hold on for this regulation win, would, of course, tie the Vics in the standings for first. As for the St. James Junior Canucks, well, they actually came back to beat the St. Vital Junior Victorias on Sunday in overtime, scoring the final minute of that game to send it to OT. With that win, they ended up back into a playoff spot. River East and Pembina Valley, as the Twisters they continue to struggle to get into the win column. Those 2 teams currently out of a playoff spot, but early in the season, as all teams play 45 games on the schedule. Yeah, I mean, for this game, I think that the Vics played a much better period, got more, quality chances in that one, but you can see the Hawks are doing a really good job of committing to their defensive zone game. This team has only allowed 17 goals heading into action tonight, so, I mean, you're seeing on display tonight this team's so good at taking their checks in their own and really taking away those backdoor chances really well tonight for the Victorias. And most times those passes not connecting for the Vics tonight when we've seen them connect so many times before early on this year. Expect for both of these teams to come out hard again this period. I think for the Vics, they're going to play with even more desperation here, knowing, how huge this game is for them in terms of, bouncing back from last year's playoff defeat to the Charleswood Hawks. I think for the Charleswood Hawks, you don't change much about your game at all, right? You've showcased a good forecheck tonight. You've shown that you've been able to create good off of, your counterattacks. And you've also been getting some solid saves from Keegan Gordon. Just don't sit back against this Victorious team here, because if you sit back, then you start to make mistakes. Then the game starts to unravel. Then you could end up blowing this 3-1 lead that you have heading into these final 20 minutes of regulation. We're going to be back with you shortly here. You're going to hear no talking here for just a moment. We're going to send it to our promo screen here for just a moment, as both teams will be making on their way onto the ice shortly. On MMJHL Game Day, the conclusion here potentially coming up on this Thursday night from the Centennial and St. Vital Centennial Arena. And just like that, we're back here in St. Vital Centennial Arena as the Hawks make their way out onto the ice right now, led on by Keegan Gordon, who's looking for his 7th win of the season. He leads the league in that category heading into tonight. As for Ethan Penner in the pipes for the Victorias, he's the last one to make it onto the ice. Hasn't lost a game yet this season. Of course, putting his undefeated record on the line here tonight, and in danger of that going out the window. But what does this Vicks team have to say about it? Do they want to see their goaltender's perfect record fall to a 4-1? Or do they have more to give in this period here on the scoreboard? It's a top line out for the Vicks to start. Or their top center, that is, and Aiden Anderson out with his brother in Nolan, along with Kobe Edwards as we're underway here. As puck sent into the Charleswood Hawks end to start things off in this period. As this puck sent all the way into the big zone for an icing. And with that, we get a face-off coming into the Charleswood Hawks end. Yeah, as for the Vicks tonight, I mean, the notable scratches like we talked about, Baron Baker isn't in the lineup tonight. But when we take a look at the big one, it's been Rylan Netraduk, 24 points in 9 games played heading into this weekend. Not too sure why he's out of the lineup tonight, but definitely a big loss for the Vicks, considering this score right now as well. As D goes to Kiesman. Kiesman just past the red line, sends it in deep. Loose puck picked up, going to the slot with the pass there was number 13 and Aiden Anderson, who gets back in the slot, but right into the crest that goes of the jersey worn by Keegan Gordon as he makes a save here to get a stoppage with 18:55 remaining in this third period of action. As draw one by Mitchell to the boards, but the Vicks couldn't catch up to it right away. It'll be chipped out by the Hawks and sent in by one hand by Carter Lee and broken up again fast into the big zone by the Hawks. Carlson's blast way over the net as the Hawks recover this puck in the big zone. At the blue line, tip from the slot, Waddell finding the stick of Carlson. Carlson has his stick lifted down below as the Vicks able to get it out. Rubini coming down with speed, not quite going to get there though as Keegan Gordon comes out of his own net to play it in the corner. Sends it all the way down to the Victoria's zone as that bank pass off the boards ends up in the skates of Rubini. Rubini on the forehand receives this pass again. He wheels to the middle. Rubini sends this in deep and goes off for a change along with the rest of that current top line, or second line right now for this Victoria's team. As Tyler Anderson, that is head coach of the Vicks, getting creative with some of his line combos tonight. Has to with the players he has out. As Blake Lee along the boards gets rubbed out, but this up to Halati from the point. His shot unable to get through as this gets deflected or sent out of play directly by this Hawks team. And the Vicks honestly could have had more shots in that second period of action. It's just the blocks from the Hawks, really impressive. Them not only sacrificing the bodies, but really impressive hand-eye as well, as they were getting blocks with the shafts of their sticks, the tips of their sticks, you name it. Blocking gallery for a blocking display from that Hawks team in that second period off of a shooting gallery at times for the Vicks off their opportunities. Got another face-off inside of the Hawks' end as Aiden Anderson ends up losing this draw as it goes through his feet, through his legs, and all the way down for an icing again. For the Hawks, they have to set up in their own zone again for a face-off. Vic's wasting no time getting the Anderson line back out alongside Kobe Edwards. That's the other winger. As Aiden Anderson loses the draw, gets tied up. David Johnson off the boards. Not strong enough, though, as that allows for the Vics to tie up the Hawks in the corner. Almost a blast from Nolan Anderson, high slot, as Aiden Anderson picks it up, gets it to the point. Kiesman has that blocked again by this Hawks team, who made an effort to get in the shot lanes tonight. Turned over onto the stick now of Kobe Edwards, plays it up to Nolan Anderson. Nolan Anderson now gets cut off by a Hawks player, now picked off by Aiden Anderson, drag shoots. Oh, a nice save made by Keegan Gordon as this one goes out of play into the netting behind the net. And I mean, hey, if you're having trouble breaking into the middle there, the middle is going to open up in the ice anytime there's a turnover that's happened. And for this Anderson duo, the Anderson twins, they've been forcing some good turnovers here to start off in the first 3 to 4 minutes of play in this third period of regulation. As now the Vics trying to pick up a loose puck again. It's, I believe, Willis this time. Might have been Jaquette, as Kiesman spins away from the pressure of the Hawks. Into the feet of Kiesman now, along his bench. Sent in by Enerson by this Charleswood team. Rimmed around by the Victorias now as Luke Elliott tried getting into the middle, but intercepted. Monin got a short pass to Stevenson before taking some physicality. The Victorias trying to go middle with that pass was Blakely, but has it intercepted. The Hawks trying to catch the Vics potentially on a bad line change, but Waddell didn't look up to survey the area in front of him, the opportunity to do so. Tipped in, so no icing on the play. Michael Spence in on the forecheck. He loses, though, as the Hawks able to get this one out. Turned over into the neutral zone on Jaquette's stick. Flips it in with the backhand short into the Hawks end. So being dumped into the corner there, a Hawks player from Michael Spence. Number 19 with some height to him. As also with a good stick, forces a turnover, gets a short pass over to him. Brogno wasn't moving the feet, though, had some trouble getting going. As this gets sent in towards the Victoria's crease. Penner didn't have to do anything there, but Hawks forcing a turnover. Now coming in is number 7 in Glavina, has his stick tied up within Brogno. No call on the play. Carlson now whacking away at that loose puck, but it'll be the Vics who survive. As heading up ice is Jaquette, cutting opposite side, trying to find that top right corner, but blockered away. Nice save by Keegan Gordon, sent all the way into the Hawks, or into the Vics zone from the Hawks sticks. So all the way down for an icing, and talked about how the Vics, I felt like for them to have the best chance to come back in this game, you need to come out with a lot of desperation in this final period. Well, they've done exactly that. Most of the zone time, most of the play has been inside of the Hawks zone, and the Vics haven't spent as much time in their own end when the puck has ended up in their own end in this game. A lot of good, quick zone exits. So another face-off will be coming inside of the Hawks zone after Gordon covered up the puck again. Connor Mitchell along with Ruben E. and Carter Lee out there for the Vics at the point. Coming in to pinch was Halati, but had poked past him by Traverse. Puck ends up going into the Victoria's bench, so we'll get another whistle in the play here. A little bit of Elton John Saturday Night's All Right for Fighting playing in the background there as this draw won by the Vics. Possessed behind their own goal line. Halati gets tied up by Morrison. Dudic in to help out as F2. Try getting a pass up to the point, but that didn't go. Hit some bodies on the way as this flipped out by Willis into the opposite end now. as both teams play catch. D, this hops over the stick of Willis, who settles it down and gathers it, spins away, goes to an open Tyler Rubini. Rubini lost possession of the puck, but worked out in his favor as it ended up on the stick of Connor Mitchell. Mitchell continues with it now, sends it to the net, rebound created, but cleared away up to the point, held in by Goretzky. D, Kiesman, his shot, just deflected, I think, out of play, hit something on the way through, ends up into the back of netting. With 13:40 left on the clock. (3-1) lead still for the Hawks, but the Vics pressing here with some really good chances in this period. Some good turnovers forced. And I think most importantly for this team, win or lose, knowing that you can finish this game strong if you can keep it up with the offensive zone time is definitely huge. That shot hard for Gordon to handle. Rebound was given up, but no one there for the Victorias to pick it up. Edwards off the boards, turns this over. Cross-ice pass sent into the neutral zone to Monin. Behind the back, feed up the boards. Just too far for Van Norman, who's jumping up into the play, but Van Norman, some good physicality, allows for this puck to sit along the boards for now. Dug out by the Hawks. That shot just wide of the net. Cole Penner, that is, out in front now behind the net. Almost had the tip. He takes a bump down low. Now chipped out by Aiden Anderson, who tries getting there with speed, but Jaden Waddell be right there in the neutral zone to pick it up. Delayed penalty here coming up on the play. Two minutes for a high stick, I think, coming up. It will be Kiesman going to the box for 2 minutes. (12:37) left in regulation. So the Hawks with a chance now to go to work on a power play where they've been good at points this season. We'll see if they can set up something here. Glavina try going to the slot, but no one there to connect with, as Sperber was tied up in front. Number 19 and Elliott Lewis breaking up with some speed. Lewis now weaving in, taking this right side into the low slot for Sperber, but that doesn't hit. That one rebounds out of the net. Penner loses his helmet as well in the crease. Just don't see that happen too often here in this league. But allows for the Vics to get a bit of a breather. So we take a look at this Hawks PK, or this power play for them. Currently 7th in the league at 18.2%. As for the Vics, their penalty kill, well, it's actually been the worst in the league so far. It's 75%. So far tonight, been no power play goals given up by the Vics. Maybe a shorty coming here as Rubini down the right side. Loses a handle on the puck as it hopped over his stick. As the Hawks now look to drag past number 18 and Blake Lee, who's out there now looking to challenge Glavina. Glavina, nice little move to get by him, drops it to open up some space now for this Hawks team in the break-in as they establish the zone on this man advantage. Establishing the zone and rimming it around was, I don't know who that is. I believe it was Matt Carlson, who at the point with Stevenson. Puck just held in by the Hawks. Blast from the point from Carlson. Turned aside by Penner as he tries to find where that is and where it ended up. Underneath him. Allows for the Hawks to get a fresh unit out, and they do. Allows for the Vics to do the same as well as they continue to win on this penalty kill, send it all the way down to the Hawk zone. Now kicked out wide. The delayed offside on the play as that puck didn't fully get in the zone. It's rimmed around for this Hawks team, played up to the point, but sent out quickly by the Victorias upon entry. And they go off for a change. Keegan Gordon now surveying the scene, and nice stretch pass up to Cole Penner, drops this back to Dudic, who Dudic drops this all the way back to Van Alstyne as that gets tipped on the way through. Wide of the net. We're back to even strength now. Morrison takes a bump from Jaquette down below, survives it. Dudic, his shot can't quite get through as that's a wall in front that blocked it for the Vics, and coming down is Rubini now. Cutting towards Blake Lee, but lost a handle on it. Jaquette was also in there to help, but puck got past number 22, Cole Penner. Drop pass, that shot wide of the net. Off the backboards, rebound there. Hawks trying to search for it. Buck could not. As Jaquette banks a pass, short one off the boards to Nolan Anderson, who's challenged by Waddell. Both of them initiate contact down low. Waddell gets up the boards. Dudic trying to cut back on Anderson, but Anderson with a good stick to take that away. Tries backhanded in deep, but cannot. As at the Vics blue line, Hawk gets body down to the ice. Anderson, short pass over to a teammate who was McPherson. His shot turned aside by the glove of Penner. With just under halfway remaining here in this third period of action. Vics recently killing off a penalty, but they still remain down by 2. As Imbrogno, good effort on the draw, allows for team to come in and help and get possession of this draw as the Vics win it. Skating up, Philippe just before the blue line, rims this in deep over to Michael Spence as Spence takes the body as the puck gets past him. Now onto the stick of Zach Anderson, who has 2 goals in this game tonight, dropped it back and had it intercepted as it just passed the red line, sent in to the Vic zone by the Hawks again. Short backhand pass up to Michael Spence. Spence tries feeding it to the middle. Turned over. Hawk gets a shot on net. Number 21 and McPherson getting to that loose puck. An easy save for Penner, though, as he made it. With 8:58 remaining here. The face-off inside of the Vic zone. Lewis out to take the draw. As Carlson, high circle, doesn't win it, so it didn't matter where Carlson was set up that time. All the way down and for another icing for this Vics team. So face-off will come back inside. This time to the glove hand side of Penner as that shot gets through from Carlson and turned aside by Penner. Turned over down low inside the big zone. Passed out in front of the slot but doesn't go for the Hawks as it's Tyler Rubini skating in. Feeds across ice. Backhand towards the net from Carter Lee. Won't go as we get another whistle here, and this third period of action, as you can see on your screen right now, brought to you by Mid-Canada Fasteners and Tools, your one-stop shop for all your industrial needs. And let me tell you, folks, going into that store again today earlier, they sure got that right. They have absolutely everything and anything you can think of. If you're into construction or you're into welding or whatever the case may be, Mid-Canada Fasteners and Tools has the tool for the job for you. It's a pretty sweet looking Milwaukee tool setup in there, something they call the Milwaukee Red Zone. Largest in Canada, from what I was told today. So, yeah, Definitely check it out if you are in need. One of their locations here in Winnipeg, and they also have one in Brandon. But for the Charleswood Hawks, with under halfway left in this game with the 2-goal lead, looking to hold on to it, as the Victorias have been coming all period long, just haven't been able to find a way to execute. Turned over, oh, there's a chance potentially for the Vics, but good defensive stick in front. After it was passed in front, after Gordon turned it over down low. Pass to the point in the Hawk zone for a Vics defenseman, but no one was there. Out of Jaquette and Nell, as this puck sent all the way into Vic zone again. Nell off the backboards, DD to Jaquette as he flips it in to the neutral zone, turned over onto the stick of Glavina, just past the red line, sends this in deep. Allows for the Hawks to potentially get on this forecheck. Nice maneuverability by the Victorias here. That puck movement, though, not the graze from Jaquette, ends up into the body of Cole Penner. Penner kicks this out. That shot scores! It's Sam Monin who picks the corner on Ethan Penner. And once again, bad puck management costing the Vics in this one. This time from Brady Jaquette. Looks like he thinks he can just flip this one out, but hey, Cole Penner gets in the way of that one, blocks it with, the upper half of his upper body near that shoulder into his jersey, and great awareness from Cole to feed it to a teammate in Sam Monin, who had all the time in the world down that left side to pick the corner on Penner with the space he was given, as it broke down in the Vic zone. And a clean snipe from Sam Monin past the outstretched glove of Ethan Penner here. Speaking of Cole Penner, dangles in the neutral zone. That gets one touched into the zone by Monin before he goes off for a change. Certainly not what we've been used to so far this season at St. Vital Centennial Arena, as the Vics have not dropped a game at home yet this year. In danger of that right now, as Carter Lee sends this in deep. Tries to chase this puck down but could not, and here once again come the Charleswood Hawks. Flipped in, opposite corner by McPherson. With him as Morrison takes a hit there from number 15 and Willis. As Evan Philippe spins back below his own goal line. Decides to feed this to Halati, who Halati spins away from the check-in number 22 in Enerson. As this puck gets sent, stretched up to Matt Carlson. Carlson in! Oh, gets taken out on his way to the net. As we may be getting a penalty shot here. As commotion and players coming to the defense of others behind the Vic's goal line. And with that, I believe it will be Matt Carlson. Will he be getting a penalty shot here? I think it's definitely close. He was in shooting motion and tight on the goaltender. Of course, got taken out hard going down on Penner. Now, the refs are having a discussion here right now. Halati ends up going into the box, so yeah, it will just be a normal power play. With 5:37 remaining. The 2-minute Hawks power play coming up. As draw one by the Charleswood Hawks. Glavina skating up right side. He banks this behind his back off the boards to protect the puck and does just that. Gets to Sperber. Sperber back up top to Glavina. Glavina, his shot. Oh, going across the body with the glove save was Ethan Penner this time to cover that one up and snag it out of midair. Draw will be to the glove hand side of Penner once again in this 3-goal game. Draw 1-2 Glavina again off of the stick of Lewis. Glavina, this time instead of activating into the play, flips it down low as Jorgen now gets 2-on-1 there by 2 Hawks players. Stevenson is in there with Sperber. Send an aerial pass across to Carlson as he wheeled up in the zone and couldn't keep that puck in. A short pass onto the stick of Sperber now has options, goes to Glavina, high slot again, cross body, glove save, and a cover up by Ethan Penner. With a minute 14 remaining in this Hawks man advantage, still the same unit out, still the same defenseman out, as this time Lewis tries to bowl his way through off the face-off, but couldn't get possession of the puck. Into the slot, that shot scores! Glavina finding Sperber, and Sperber goes through the 5-hole of number 29 and Ethan Penner to give the Hawks a power play goal in this game and a 5-1 lead in what just hasn't been that night for the Vics. Great execution on the power play from the Charleswood Hawks. Win the draw 3 times in a row. On the last one, of course, Lewis pushing through, didn't quite get a shot on net, but this Hawks team stays with every puck and with every battle. And we saw Lewis do that to keep that, offensive chance alive. And alive and well it was, as the Hawks ended up going tic-tac-toe from half wall down low to the slot. And a save that, yes, Penner should have had, but I'm sure for him, hoping to write off this night is just one we throw away and move on to the next one, as that shot floating from the point. Rebound picked up from Morrison as he can't get that past the body of Goretzky on the block. Tipped from Dudic in the high slot, wide of the net it went. As this picked up number 23, the lone goal scorer, and Kobe Edwards for the Vics as he dumped it into the opposite corner. As into the neutral zone again this puck goes. As picked up by McPherson, turns this over to Vics number 15 and Willis. Hayden Willis, that is. As Aiden Anderson plays a pass to Halati. Halati can't quite get it back to Anderson, though, as that one misses too hard off the boards. DDD again. Halati this time stretch pass up to Kobe Edwards, but on his backhand couldn't handle it cleanly as it got sent in deep again. The Hawks now looking transition out. It'll be Kobe Edwards. Banks it off the boards to himself and sends it in deep just before the blue line. Takes a bump, and oh, here's a fight that's breaking out. Enerson and Nolan Anderson. As the gloves are dropped by the Vics bench. Anderson on the ice, so linesman in between them as Enerson feeding Anderson. 1-2 punches with the ref on top of him. You can see Anderson is trying to push them away, the ref and the player off of him in Enerson. Oh yeah, that one came out of nowhere. I'm sure something was said between these two. This game's been chippy between the whistles pretty much as it's gotten going more and more throughout these 60 minutes of gameplay. That ends the night for Zach Enerson as well as Nolan Anderson. With only 2:43 remaining in this game. I'm sure both of these coaching staffs would like to see this game end as fast and as clean as possible at this point. I mean, for the Vics, you're down 5-1. You know, there's not much time to tie it, and you just haven't had your best stuff tonight. For the Charleswood Hawks, right? You're up 5-1. you know, you've played arguably your best game of the season here tonight up until this point, and you don't want to come away with this one with any drama, any bull crap after, you know, the whistles and in this garbage time right now. You're just hoping to close this out and hope that you can go home happy and healthy with the win. Up by 4 right now. And most importantly, I mean, you hope that you can hold on to this win, as anything can, of course, happen in sports. But seems far-fetched at this point. The linesman having a conversation with Vic's head coach, Tyler Anderson. He's leaning over for the explanation. But what is going to happen here is we will see the Vics on a power play for the next 2 minutes. Their only goal of the game tonight has come on the power play. So maybe a chance for them to cut into this lead here late in the game. As Rubini touches this up to Kiesman. His shot as he dragged to the middle ends up being into the crest of number 1 in Gordon. As Anderson ends up winning this draw back to Kiesman. This time cleanly to him. Goes D to Dylan Jaquette. His shot in on the logo again of Keegan Gordon. So he had to... Actually, it looked like he squeezed that one a bit this time. That one gave him a bit more trouble. But he holds on nonetheless. And another draw won by the Vics. Played up to Kiesman at the point again. Goes D to Aiden Anderson. Who Anderson works into the zone a bit before dropping back up to Kiesman. Back to Anderson. Cross ice. He goes to Dylan Jaquette. Tries going back door, but that just off the mark as the net ends up going off again. Been a common theme here tonight from the Hawks. This draw won by the Hawks, sent all the way out. And reaching out with his stick is Ethan Penner, leaving this for Kiesman as he wheels around the left side of the net, cuts back to the right side of the ice. Before dropping this back to Aiden Anderson, had it in his skates, kicked it up to himself, as Anderson now reverses. Works this up down low into the zone now. Try going up top to the point, but that goes in between Rubini and Kiesman. And all the way down is Ethan Penner out to leave it again for number 7. 50 seconds left here in this power play for the Vics as Kiesman skates it up right side. Just past the red line, decides to rim this in. As Carter Lee tries to get into it first. Doesn't quite, but that allows for Evan Philippe to maintain possession of the puck. Gets this stripped off of his backhand, trying to protect around a Hawks player, but this gets sent all the way down. I believe that was Morrison and Dudic took it away. Tyler Rubini now wheeling in with speed, dangles through. Rubini trying to cut through, draws a penalty in the sequence. With under a minute left, 57.5 seconds, the Vics go to a 5-on-3 for, and that's 14 seconds. But, you know, I think, if anything, like I said, you know, this game is out of reach already for the Vics, but it's about those good habits you showcase throughout a game like this, even when you're down, right? It's about that work ethic. Can you still show it, even no matter what the score may be? And Rubini continuing to skate hard all night long, just burned down that right side and tried dangling through. Still giving his 110% here, even in this losing cause. And that's what you love to see out of your captain, and you hope that that type of energy and effort translates, you know, into next game for this team. So they'll be looking for a better one on Sunday afternoon against the Fort Garry Twins. And the effort wasn't, bad by any means for this victorious team tonight, actually. It was more so their execution being off tonight. And Charleswood execution, well, theirs was pretty darn good in this one. Up 5-1. Controlled most of the high-quality chances through the first and second period of this one, I'd say. Did not sit back on the Victorias, kept coming at them, and that's exactly what you need to do against the top teams in this league. And for Charleswood, themselves are also among one of the top teams in the league, and factually will be after tonight as they now tie the Vics in the standings at 15 points with this win. With a 5-1 road victory tonight for the Charleswood Hawks, they improved their winning streak to 4 in a row. And taking the rematch from last year's first-round playoff series by a score of 5-1 over St. Vital tonight. As for the Victorias, they fall to 7-2-1 on the season, and will be back in action coming up on Sunday against the Fort Garry Twins. A team that was, of course, missing some pieces tonight. At the end of the day, had enough to, you would think, be maybe closer in this game. That wasn't the case. So the absence of a guy like Rylan Etcherduk was missed a lot tonight, I'd say. Took away the true power of that top line, which has been that dynamic duo going to work all season long with each other with the plays they've made, putting this Vicks team on their back. And we saw tonight, right? What does this Vicks team do? How do they respond when their top guys are getting shut down, which Rubini was getting shut down tonight. The Andersons were getting shut down. How does the rest of your team respond? And I thought for the most part, this team, the effort wasn't lacking, right? They were still getting in and getting their shots, especially as this game went along. And I thought in that third period, until that power play that the Hawks had, it was all Vicks, but we saw the commitment from this Hawks team in their own end to block shots with their sticks, with their bodies. We saw their counterattack, and them matching the pace and speed of the Vicks, their energy coming into this one boded well for Charleswood as, they took advantage of some good puck luck in that first period. They were able to get behind the Vicks defense tonight and really use that speed to their advantage. Also hemmed them in with a good forecheck and showcased how good this team can be when, they play with speed and get on the forecheck and create offensive zone time that way and start to cycle. I thought defensively, too, made it really tough for the Vicks to get into the high-dangered areas of the ice, like the slot in the middle of it. Kept them to the outside for the most part. And you saw the Vicks having to work for their chances. And anytime you can make a team as gifted as this Vicks team is offensively, even with the players they were missing tonight, like a Rylan Etcherduk, you got to be pretty pleased with that if you're the Charleswood Hawks. Ethan Penner loses for the first time tonight. Keegan Gordon was really solid in his own net for the Hawks to pick up his league-leading 7th win of the season. That .933 save percentage is only going to get better as well. But, we're going to get into the players of the game now. I thought for the Charleswood Hawks, they have a lot of players that, may not stand out with one of them in particular, but all really good, really high-end skill players on this team with a lot of speed. I like the game of Zach Anderson tonight. He doesn't finish this game as he got kicked out with a game misconduct along with Nolan Anderson, but a guy that was just doing a really good job of bouncing off hits tonight and being physical himself and getting in on the forecheck and creating chances, whether that was with his shot with one-timers or with his passes. I thought that he was fantastic tonight for this Charleswood Hawks team. And just notice that we started off with the winners instead of the losers. We'll end off with the losers in the St. Vital Junior Victorias. And in terms of who I thought played the strongest game from this Vicks team tonight, I like Kobe Edwards' game a lot. Of course, yes, he does score the goal, and it wasn't the prettiest goal in the world, but with this being a young player, his first year in the league, I thought he showcased a lot of confidence with the puck, wasn't afraid to get in the dirty areas as well, and set up some good chances for this Vix team tonight, and could have been on the receiving end of some more goals for this Vix team if they were just able to execute a bit more. And yeah, those are our players of the game in this post-game show. I hope you enjoyed it, ladies and gentlemen. We'll end off with some final words. Yeah, you know, the Victorias, they've been perfect at home up until this point. They lose for the first time tonight. And I'll end off by saying once again that I thought their effort was great throughout this whole game. I thought, though, that Charles Woods was just a bit better. They were just a bit faster than the Vix, and also capitalized on their execution in terms of their passes and those shot opportunities. A bit better than the Vix. Something that was lacking in their game tonight was their execution, and that's something that we haven't seen that often from St. Vital this season. The Vix will be back in action on Sunday in Century Arena. Charles Wood will be back on Sunday afternoon as well at 3:45 p.m. against the St. James Junior Canucks from Eric Coy on mmjhl game day. Puck will drop at 3:45 p.m. We'll have our pregame show just shortly after 3:35 that day. But I've been your play-by-play commentator and host for our pregame show, postgame show, and game here tonight, ladies and gentlemen, Graham the G Show Forsyth. I want to thank you, the viewer, for tuning in, as well as our sponsors in Make Hand Fasteners and Tools, Terraco Goaltenders, and Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia for sponsoring another edition of MMJHL Game Day. Vix dropped their first game of the season at home tonight, 5-1 against the Hawks, as both teams now tied in the standings at 15 points apiece. Good night, ladies and gentlemen. Take care. See you Sunday on the next MMJHL Game Day in Eric Coy.